We are trying to really be tough with the 5 minutes limit. I still permit something like a minute for switching over to the other laptop. So since we don't have program until 6 o'clock, we can have, say, 6 minutes per talk, but only 5 minutes per talk and 1 minute for getting the next speaker to run. So let's start with the first talk. Harald, whatever, GitLab mirrors. You should try, but we all cannot write anymore.
No,
so no,
I forgot it definitely.
GitLab mirrors.
So, I have a few questions for you beforehand. Who is using GitLab? Very well. Who uses GitLab and needs to share code outside of your organization? Okay, a few of them. And who ever wanted to trigger GitHub actions from a GitLab project? Okay, so mirrors might be a solution for you. What is a mirror? A mirror is basically a copy of your repository, but it's also a feature inside of GitLab. What can you do with mirrors? There are a few types of mirrors. There are push mirrors, which means you can forward your code to another repository. There are pull mirrors, which means you can get code from an outside repository to your repository. And there are bidirectional mirrors. But be aware, you may have conflicts when you use them. And you can have much more documentation on the GitLab website. What are some use cases that I found out where those mirrors are useful? Like I said, triggering GitHub actions. We had jobs outside which were perfectly to use with GitHub actions because they were already pre-configured. We are using GitLab internally. We configured a push mirror. We just forward our code to GitHub, and we are triggering an actual workflow. Also, we wanted to get code to our internal GitLab. The use case was to build internal Docker images, and we used the pull mirror. And in this case, when the code was pulled to us, a GitLab pipeline was triggered and our images were created. And also, you can use this bidirectional mirroring if you want to work with external contributions, but you have some issues regarding the network. Well, the conclusion, it's a powerful feature of GitLab. You can use it for backups, CI/CD, collaboration. Thanks.
All right, so my name is Daniel Zook, and I am going to tell you why you should learn Rust. So, thank you. So, a little about me. I'm one of the Python SDK maintainers at Sentry, but about a year ago, I learned Rust so that I could also take over maintaining Sentry CLI, which is a command line utility written in Rust. And I've basically been the main person maintaining that for the last year. And I want to share some insights about, from learning Rust and also, from my experience maintaining Sentry CLI. So Rust is a very different language from Python in terms of its philosophy. It's, first of all, compiled instead of interpreted, and there's a very strong emphasis on safety, so type safety, memory safety, and also high performance. Regarding the safety rules, these are all enforced by the compiler, which means that we eliminate a lot of runtime errors. So I think I have a few examples of the different safety features, and of course there's a lot more than just this, but the first one is maybe the idea of null types. So in Python, you can have a none, and that can be assigned to anything. In Rust, basically, you have to opt in to allowing a type be none. So I have some Python code with the equivalent Rust code, and you can see in Python, you could just set two variables, one to an int, one to none. And if you try to compare them, you get a runtime error. Whereas in Rust, this doesn't even compile because you're trying to compare two different types, and that doesn't work. Mutability is another big thing in Rust. So you have to explicitly declare something as mutable. If you want it to be mutable, this reduces a lot of unexpected behaviors that could happen if something tries to mutate something you thought you shouldn't be mutable. So I have two Python example with equivalent Rust example. In the Python example, we have a list with 2 numbers in it, and we have a function called add1 to all original. Question is, if we call add1 to all on original, does the value of original change at all? And in the Python code, actually, there's no way to tell what the result might be. Whereas in the Rust code, because original is not defined explicitly as being mutable, we actually know that the original value cannot change from this function call. So as I show right here, the output in Python, we don't know what it is. The output in Rust, we know for sure what it is. What I wanted to show here is if you make it mutable, you have to do that with this mute keyword. And now afterwards, we don't know what it prints, but we also opted into this behavior of having it be a mutable variable. So basically my point here is Rust can basically eliminate entire classes of runtime errors or runtime bugs in the case of mutability. Maybe something changed which you didn't think should be allowed to change. And so by using Rust, you make your code a lot, you avoid the risk of errors at runtime. Instead, you get these errors at compile time and you're forced to fix them. So there's benefits and drawbacks to both Python and Rust. I'd say Python's the language to use when you want to code something up really quickly and maybe you don't care that it's super reliable and stable. Whereas Rust, maybe you're going to invest more time in the initial development process because you are forced to consider all these compiler errors. On the other hand, you're less likely to be affected by bugs. So, and in any case, you can use Sentry to find your errors. All right, cool. And why should you learn Rust? It's good to learn any new language, and also I would really emphasize the Rust book is the official book about Rust, and it's really good. So it's worth it just to be reading the Rust book, honestly. That's all from me.
Okay, so my name is Urs. I will give a short talk about yet another Django task queue because I can. So who is using Celery? Yes, who is using Celery plus Redis? Okay. Who is doing that in production? Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay. Well, there are many problems. So one of them is this. If you schedule tasks to be executed in the future, the thing is with Celery, those tasks are typically fetched into the worker memory, so they are gone from the whatever you use as broker, and they reside there, so they consume more memory, and there's probability that it will be killed because it goes out of memory. And if specifically you are using Redis backend, then there's visibility timeout, so in essence, you might get these tasks duplicated, and so number of tasks grows and grows by itself. So there are many articles written about it. And and you might say, well, we do not use this feature, but you actually do. Whenever the task fails and it gets retried, it's actually scheduled to be executed in the future. So you are using this, you might not know it. I have several projects that rely on this feature about scheduling events for the future. And so we looked at the alternatives, so Dramatic and RQ and others, but basically they do not have a good support for ETA. There was a promising project with Django background workers, but unfortunately Django decided to build abstraction layer over any messaging queue, and task runner instead of building something on their own. And there's also the initial implementation of this specification. So, and yeah, and another thing with all those other solutions, you would have to migrate your code to change the annotations, to change some semantics of how it works together. So therefore, well, let's create another one. So the inspiration is from the Ruby on Rails. So they have now solid queue as a database backend for the active job. And so you do not need any external dependencies. It just works out of the box. The performance is good. So in similar spirit, this is like project that doesn't require any additional configuration. So no Redis, no Flower for visibility. And Django admin is used to view what are the tasks in the queue. And it also has some Celery compatibility. So basically all tasks are annotated with this shared task that looks just like the Celery one. And then you can execute the tasks by using delay, apply async, and then the signature method with whatever, apply async or delay. And then since it was me who had to migrate several production applications from it, so I made the migration kind of easy. So what you change is you change the package from which you import the shared task, and then you change the command line used to run the task runner. And it just works. I think the best feature out of it is that it's visible in the Django admin, so not very well on the screen. But you see the future tasks that have to be executed, pending tasks, which are like not executed because you do not have enough workers. And what's important, you have the failed tasks. And for the failed task, you can see what was the actual traceback, what was the error is basically a short summary of the traceback. And you can pick those tasks and retry them by hand. So if your application has bugs, you fix the bugs, you go to these failed tasks, you force them to be executed again, and live happily ever after. So that's it. You can try it as well. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll try to give you a very brief introduction to DuckDB, a database, a daunting task in 5 minutes apparently.
Ins Mikrofon sprechen.
Yeah. So your key takeaway should be it's SQLite for analytics. It makes it possible to run SQL statements against a variety of formats. It's actually a fairly mature project, started 2019 at the Dutch Research Institute. It's free and Libre in both senses of the word, basically. All you have to do is you have to download the binary. There's no administration overhead, so you don't need to hire a DBA or worry about who's going to be your DBA in 8 years from now. It allows you to use SQL, which is the best query language there is. It comes with many language bindings, apparently with Python as well. And one interesting thing, data is local. It doesn't leave the premises. You can run your queries on your own servers or on your own laptop. And it doesn't need to be copied over the network, which apparently is really slow compared to reading from disk or from memory. I will paper over that. Here's an example of how to read a CSV file from GitHub. And that.
Sir, look at your screen.
Okay, so here's an example on how to read a CSV file from GitHub. So that's baked in, basically. It takes 22 seconds, but mostly downloading over the network. You can do the same locally. You can create a table in a local file. You see that the stations DB is much smaller than the CSV file because it's got an optimized columnar storage format. And apparently the query is much faster. Probably also because it knows the SQL star and it knows how many rows are in the table. It integrates with polars and pandas, so you can continue with your regular Python code, but query against a more or less proper database. You can use the CLI, you can use it in pipes, you can use it in shell scripts. It's not suitable for larger concurrent workloads. It runs on your own machine usually. It's also not really suitable for workloads that are much larger than your RAM. It's an interesting idea for integrating into existing applications, into analyzing data locally, be it for compliance reasons, for performance reasons, for doing it quickly, for interactive usage, and also in pipelines, in GitHub, GitLab pipelines, in data pipelines, in shell pipelines. And 3 interesting projects, and there's no good talk without GenAI content. DeepSeek uses DuckDB, and they say they sorted 110 terabytes in 30 minutes. Quite impressive. There's an interesting local BI tool that runs in your browser. It uses DuckDB's WASM bindings. So again, data doesn't leave your premises. You don't need to upload it to some third party. And you can also use a DuckDB plugin for Postgres to run DuckDB queries against Postgres tables. That's it for me.
Hello, this is not a technical talk. This is a personal talk. It's a request to you. My request is, please, guys, make your own PyCon. You probably know me. I was usually in the registration desk. I'm co-creator of this PyCon, or co-organizer with my other team members. And until today, I was always, like you, visitor of PyCons, and I enjoyed doing PyCon stuff, but I had not much idea what the organization people are doing except hanging around in the wardrobe or in the registration desk. And I can now tell you from own experience, this is exactly what we do. We hang around in the wardrobe or in the registration desk. And we all wish we would go to some talks. Of these talks, we know exactly who is speaking and when and which workshops there are, because we made the schedule, but for some reason we cannot go there because there's always something else to do. But what we can do is giving you the task, please guys, make our own PyCon so that we can also enjoy it as a visitor. This is really not hard. Thank you. I think I'm not very qualified in any organizational thing, like standing up in the morning. And I also managed to create such things by knowing the right people, like Ralf. And guess what? All these people who are willing to work without payment, yeah, just that the PyCon exists, we mark them for you. They have our orange t-shirt. Yes, and all these people who travel from all over the world to, for people they don't know, to speak to people they also don't know about topics that they don't know. Yes, we also mark them for you. They have blue T-shirts. Yeah, so just you grab their addresses and names. Yes, and they will probably make the same for your PyCon. Yes, then there of course you need sponsors for things like free cake. And there are companies who are willing to pay for people they don't know money they usually have, and so that people who don't know these companies can eat free cake. And we also marked these companies, they're on the speaker slides. These are our sponsors, and you also find them on the table. So all the resources, all the secrets that we know, they are open source, we share them, and actually there are things like code of conduct or so, we stole them from other PyCons. Yeah? It's, my say is, if I and my team can do that, you can probably do it better and we would enjoy. So please make your own PyCons.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are sitting in a room full of mostly smart people. I can say this because I've spoken to many of you personally, and I want you to take a moment now to turn around, or turn to your right, turn to your left, and introduce yourself to someone you have not spoken to. Come on, people, get out of your shell. Get out of your shell. Get out of your shell and talk to somebody. I'm looking at you. Meet somebody new. Meet somebody new. You can do it. You can do it. There you go. There you go. Meet somebody new. I am looking at now, and there's a few people in here who are brand new to this whole future thing, that they're still not even sure what's going to happen next week. Actually, most of us don't know what's going to happen next week. All we know is that it's going to change. And we are here to learn how to cope with that change, be it technical, be it your professional careers, or be it your technical careers. It is all about how you approach it. And because you are here, you have decided that the future is with Python. Or maybe in the case of one or two of us, it might be Rust. And power to you. Power to you, because that is what we came here for, people. We came here to learn from each other. So I want you to all take the time. If you're coming back tomorrow, awesome. But when next time you go to one of these conferences, make the effort, people. Make the effort to make a new friend in this room. Wherever that room is, because that is your future, your network here, people. Most of you got your jobs because you knew someone. Not because you knew something, it's because you knew someone. And that someone is probably sitting right next to you. So keep that in mind. Your future is now, it is here. Thank you very much.
Hi, so my name is Dor. I work for Palo Alto Networks, who helped me come here. And I want to spread the word about a nifty little pack called UV. How many of you are familiar with that? Nice. How many of you are using it in production? Not bad. Okay, so for those who don't, UV is made by Astro, the guys who made Ralf, the fantastic linter. And they are here to bring the cargo, the Rust cargo experience to Python. This means there's only one thing you need to install in order to get Python. Installing Python isn't fun. With all these paths and windows and having multiple ones, and did I install it with Brew, did I install it with the official installer? So UV is here to fix everything. And they pretty much do, although they're only in version like 0 point something. They're not even in version 1. So everything you need to do is install UV. It's a one command line. You do get from the website. I don't know it by heart, unfortunately. And then if you want to have Python, you do UV Python install. And had I not used a corporate laptop with a serious VPN, well, then maybe we can do that. If I want Python, I don't know, 3.7, something I surely don't have. This is all you need to do. And yeah, so it downloads Python and installs it. You'll have to trust me on that because we're not going to wait for this. And then if you want to start, you want to manage a project, UV init, and it will create a PyProject YAML with the bare minimum that you need. It lets you configure the version. And then if you want to add something, so all this, you never have to install Python ever again. You just install UV, then you do everything with UV. You want to install pandas, UV pip install pandas, sorry, one-handed, and it will go in. Oh, of course, I need an environment, so UV venv, and then UV pip install pandas, and it will install pretty fast, much faster than pip. It has a very fast cache, so it does this too. More things to use. UV pip add will also add pandas to this temporary project they just added. And then the next time, oh, no need for install. So it adds it to the PyProject YAML here. This, so far, pretty much similar to PDM or Poetry. Cool things it can do is UVX. UVX is short for UV tool run, and it lets you run things without installing them. Say you want to run something quickly. I want to test, I don't know, IPython. UVX IPython downloads, installs it in a virtual environment separate from this one, and it's just running. Do you want this with polars or with pandas, which we already have cached? It will install both, and then I can do import. You just have to trust me because I'm single-handed here. More cool things you can do is, so UVX is fantastic, very useful if you want to try something. Also, if you want to try pandas with an older version or something with an older version, you can run with from and tell it, okay, I want to test with this version. If you want to test with a different specific Python version, which you don't need to have it installed at all. You just do -p or -- Python 3.8 and it's there. More cool things. So we have a project, we can sync it, meaning we install the whatever is in the Pi project into the virtual environment. We can log, so it creates a UV log file, which is, since not too long ago, platform agnostic, so it works on all platforms, Windows, Linux, whatever. UV tree is a nice way to see the dependencies. So what is required by what? So we added pandas, and pandas relies on NumPy, etc., etc. So that's a nice way to find why you have some dependency. It can also build and publish directly to PyPI, which is pretty nifty. Yes, I don't think I know any other tricks with it. And yeah, if you have some TLS problems, there's also a way to suppress them. Yeah, so this was it. And I don't install Python on computers anymore. I refuse to work with Python VM. There's no need to do that. It's all so fast, so reliable. So just use UV.
Thank you. Hi. I put myself at the position -1 because I very much hoped for being dropped out of the DQ. It didn't happen, so I hope that tomorrow you are going to give more lightning talks, and that the list will be full. Because now I'm going to talk about you. Today I observed a little bit what you were typing on, and you have learned nothing. Who is still not using the standard US keyboard layout? Plenty of people using the Austrian one and all this similar. Well, with this US keyboard layout, you can just program in Python perfectly. You have everything at your finger points, all the fingertips, all the brackets, point, quotes, double quotes, triple quotes, whatever you need. And you can actually live with that quite well. Samozrejme, ako náhle začnete písať po slovensky, tak potrebujete nejaké mäkčenia, dĺžne, vôkaň a tá klávesnica sa troška mení, z kverty sa stáva kverc a niektoré veci sa programujú už troška ťažšie. Und wenn man dazu jetzt noch Deutsch packt, dann kommen all diese Umlaute und Scharfsätze sind große Scharfsätze, was ihr eigentlich gar nicht tippen könnt auf der euren deutschen Tastatur. Und es ist wieder auch Quers, genauso wie in der slowakischen, und viele Sachen musst ihr mit dem rechten Alt-GR machen. Na české klávesnici je to podobné jak na slovenské klávesnici, taky na bodeníčka, všechno se tam nahromadí a pak se moc těžko programuje. Le clavier français, c'est absolument une exception parce que même pas c'est ni QWERTY, c'est AZERTY. Le M, il est ailleurs, le point, on le fait avec un shift et ça devient pas une petite, mais une grande catastrophe. En teclado castellano es aún más diferente con los ñes tildes en puntos de exclamación y de interrogación abiertos y cambia mucho. Klawiatura polska jest bardzo podobna do tej klawiatury amerykańskiej, ale jak chcecie napisać do kogoś, kto się nazywa Grzegorz Brzęczyszkiewicz i mieszka Chrząci-Żewoczyce powiat Wękowody, jest to bardzo ciężkie i do programowania. Tastiera italiana è un più differente perché non si può scrivere tutte le lettere accentuate, maiuscole e minuscule. Po svenska on van der ma medring, a magyar ABC-ben kettőzseles. Található is ankaŭ Esperanto estas tre internacia lingvo. Ankaŭ li ekzistas kelkaj tre speciala literoj ve turĉe küçük noktasis i ve büyük noktalı ivar. And we have only scratched the surface. So imagine that you want just to write the names of people who are attending this conference or names of some places in Europe or write in some other languages, and you have to remember all these keyboard layouts and to switch between them. Only because you want to type a German umlaut or some that is in some other language, for example in Hungarian, and you have to find it or remember that it is somewhere completely else on the keyboard layout. You can use character maps, but well, for usual typing that's quite cumbersome. But there were times where we had compose keys on the keyboards, like really on the hardware. It was compose, and then you pressed two other keys, and you could type most of the characters and special letters and most characters that we were talking about. And there are compose key sequences. They are actually quite simple. Hey, you have already learned to program Python, so it's not such complicated. So, for example, if you want to have umlaut, so with two dots, then you do compose, then double quotes, and then any letter. It doesn't have to be A. It can be also any vowel, and even on some consonants where it is applicable. Also for accent circonflexe, accent aigu, and so on, and all these other characters, you can do that, and it behaves always the same. So you remember only a few modifiers, and you're done. And you can also type many more characters that are outside of the alphabet. There is even a file on your computer that contains more than 6,000 definitions. You don't have to learn all of them, but look at them. And if you have suddenly some friend from Sweden that has an O or some other characters, that was not Sweden with O. It was Norwegian. Then you are going to look for this character, and you are going to learn that. If you can even define your own characters, and that's in the local xcompose file in your home directory. And now we have to imagine where we are going to put it on the keyboard, because very probably you don't have a compose key. On your keyboard, for example, if you have a print screen on ThinkPads, it is on the bottom right. You don't use it as a print screen, you can put it there, or some other key that you don't use, and that could be your new compose key. And then set xkb map, US option, compose, for example, menu, and you are done. Compose, and any two other characters. But I'm already standing here and I have 1 more minute, certainly. Then let's have a look at something else that we can change. For example, let's get rid of shift lock, caps lock, because who needs it? And what can you do is actually make it a control key, because it is like next to your small finger. So you can really use it immediately as a compose key, not as a compose, as a control key, and then you just add control modifier and it's immediately a control key. And for price of 1 key, we can have 2 keys, and that's escape, because you press and hold caps lock, and you press another button, that's control, and if you just press and release it, it's like escape, because you need it in your text editor every day. A lot of times then you say escape, you put some nice stickers, and you are done. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello everyone. So welcome to Presentception. It's a presentation about presentations. I'm sorry I'm taking some time. It's a Python conference, not a C++ conference. And let me tell you, I'm really nervous. I'm from India, and I've not seen this many people since I've left India. So that's one way to start a presentation. But yeah, also what a wonderful day we had, right? But it's only possible because of people who make it happen, our volunteers, who are speakers, and all of you who have come here to attend from God knows where. But yeah, give a big round of applause for our volunteers. They deserve it. Every single clap. So that's the other way to start a presentation. Check with the audience. Yeah, and I heard a lot of clapping, so you are listening. Stage 1, whenever you give a talk, stage 1 is always about preparation, right? You prepare, and then you maybe give a mock presentation to your friends. If you have them, I don't. So that's how it starts. But what's more important is know your audience, right? Because you don't know if you have to give a talk to someone in 10th standard or someone in their 10th year of Python. So knowing your audience is very important. But truly know your audience. Truly, that they know nothing. Truly know that your audience knows nothing. So consider everyone as a beginner and start as a fresh slate. Stage 2. So now you have done your preparation, you know your audience knows nothing. Now you go to the stage 2 part, which is the execution stage. And now about the audience we know, but we don't know about the topic. So know your topic very well. Or at least act like you know your topic, Use some heavy jargon. Yesterday I ran an LLM model on my system, locally. Yeah, with that accent it helps. So at least sort of project that you know. Even if you don't really, you just need confidence. And then you can say that, I've been to Mars. And yeah, you might say, yeah. And then I woke up. But at least know a little bit, right? You cannot just say everything in confidence, right? You should at least know something, right? Something as simple as, like printing, hello world, what's going on here. Oh my God. See, this is what happens when you don't pay to your interns, because the interns made my slide. So always pay your interns, otherwise they'll give you back in front of an audience, an international audience from all over the place. And then they would see that I cannot print even hello world. And have your friends in the audience, right? I don't have friends, but I think that I can consider you as my friend for the next 2 minutes. So, that's why you need friends. Before you even finish your sentence. So thank you for that, and I'm so happy to have so many friends. Oh my God, these interns, they are here for the experience, but they really need some money as well, otherwise they'll just ABC, AB. Of course, when you are done with your talk, you also need to do a wrap-up, right? Like you need to close it with a motivational sentence of, you can dream anything, and ChatGPT will reply to that and whatnot. So do that wrapping part now. So first of all, respect time. It's very important. The volunteers are keeping track of time. They will tell you that, be comfortable, but we know that everyone is under pressure of the time because of so many talks and whatnot. So really respect their time. They will say 5 minutes, but I'll probably have taken just 3. And so big thank you to everyone for this. But there is a wrap-up part 2. Yeah, I respect volunteers just enough. Don't interrupt when you applause. Leave before you start asking questions. Ciao. And now it's over. All right.